How are you doing? I hope you're well. So today I'm going to look at information and messages for the next couple of weeks. I drew an oracle card this morning and I meditated on it. And this week I selected the Oracle of the Seven Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. The actual card is called Quieting the Mind. So it's very interesting because as soon as I started the meditation, I received a message that for this week's message, it's especially for people who've been feeling overwhelmed because of life being chaotic and very busy. Okay, so it's going to be different from one person to another. It could be that, yes, life has been very busy. You've got many responsibilities, duties, roles to play in this life, but at the moment you're feeling very overwhelmed because of it. Now, there could be a situation with some of you, you had an event in your life that triggered maybe sadness, stress, and because of it, you're feeling very overwhelmed. And the two examples that sprang to mind was, for example, losing a loved one or going through a divorce. But regardless, Spirit is saying it's time for us to take a break, to go with the flow and find peace again. Because we could be in a situation, for example, where our thoughts are all over the place. And because we're feeling so confused because of the thoughts being all over the place, we could experience something very similar in our own reality in the outer world. So, Spirit is basically saying it's time that we take, I would call it an internal break. So, we need basically to go to a place where it's a silent place and regroup. So, it could be obviously very different from one person to another. Okay. Obviously, if you look at the card here, clearly someone is doing a meditation. True, if you take a few minutes and meditate, not only you can find that place where it's peaceful, but you can get inner guidance as well by connecting to your higher self, spirit guides or spirits in general. But it doesn't have to be, you know, that way. You can also, for example, go and take a walk in nature if you love doing that. Anything that will quiet your mind and try to help you to reassess your situation. Why are you feeling so overwhelmed? Because life is chaotic? Yes, it's quite common. Let's face it, life is a balancing act, but we need to find that quiet place and regroup in order to, yes, reassess where we're at. So now I'm going to draw a few tarot cards and very much ask Spirit about other informations related to the quieting the mind card and see what Spirit wants to share with us. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to select three cards. Bear with me a few seconds. I'm going to check the cards. Yes, like it always does. It makes so much sense. Now, the first card is so related to the quieting the mind card. The first card is the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles, for me, is an energy representing a time where we are busy. So that's why I feel it's so connected with this card. It could be a time where we feel we have to juggle our priorities, um, our responsibilities, our roles, etc. And it can be a time where you feel very overwhelmed because of it. And the fact it's a number two, to me, number two is about choices. Okay. So maybe, as I mentioned earlier on, you've reached a point where you feel so overwhelmed and it starts to have negative impacts, let's say, on your health. It could be mental, it could be physical, it could be emotional. Something needs to be done. And I think the Two of Pentacles, basically, the energy is inviting us to manage our time and responsibilities, carefully. So it's all about sometimes setting healthy boundaries. And I'm talking especially to people who have generally a busy life, full of responsibilities and duties, especially towards their family. And for some of us, especially people who give a lot, it's difficult to set boundaries. Okay. But I would say to you the importance of it. And especially if you have, let's say, health issues, negative impact on your health generally, I've got a question for you. If, no, sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. How can you help others, okay, if you can't help yourself? This is a time where maybe you feel that you want to give up in some kind of way because the responsibilities are so big and you feel so overwhelmed. But I would say to you, you are the priority. And that's why it's so important you set healthy boundaries. Only a few minutes per day to do whatever you want to do. Could be a meditation, a walk in nature, just for a few minutes to find that place where you can find peace again. It's so, so important. There is an aspect as well with the Two of Pentacles where we need to be maybe patient, flexible, and adaptable. Life, as I mentioned early on, is of course a balancing act, but it's all about finding the middle ground here. You're there for others, but you as a person is important too. So bear that in mind. That's very much the messages I'm getting from the Two of Pentacles. Now, the next card, which is in the position of action, what advice Spirit gives us in order to move out of this challenging phase in our lives. We've got the High Priestess. The High Priestess is very much about the divine feminine. She represents sacred knowledge, and her message here very much connected to this phase in our life where we may feel, overwhelmed because it's chaotic and very busy. Her message is when we are busy and very and feeling imbalanced, basically, not in balance, we are losing sight of the bigger picture. And what I mean by that, we we need to ask ourselves why we are here on a deeper level. And one of the messages she's got for us is time to be still in order to be able to connect, to tune to our intuition. She's all about intuition, okay? And let's face it, we are the answers we are seeking in this life at the moment, especially if we feel very overwhelmed, they will come from our deepest truth and deepest knowing. So it's a work to go within, okay? And by finding those answers, this is the only way forward for us to move forward, to improve a challenging situation. So she's all about going within. So, yes, a few minutes doing a meditation will give you the opportunity to find the answers and finally seeing some of the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle falling into place. This is the only way. So that's basically the messages um, I'm getting from the High Priestess. Now, the third card is a very different type of energy. It's the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords, when I say it's a very different energy compared to the High Priestess is all about divine feminine, going within, finding the answers within. The King of Swords is all about the mind, the thoughts, the intellect. And generally, in a reading, when you get the King of Swords, it means finally you find clarity. Okay. And that makes sense actually from the Two of Pentacles, where life is quite full on. Um, you're very busy. You feel maybe overwhelmed by going within and finding the answers and tapping, tuning to our intuition, will eventually find clarity and finally move forward, hopefully, to a better place. There is also another message with the King of Swords. If you are, let's say, in a situation where you know where you stand, you know where you want to move to, okay, in a very complex situation, but you know deep down you need help, you need professional help from maybe an expert or consultant. And what I'm talking about as an example, it could be a lawyer, it could be a financial expert, let's say, or a therapist. So, Spirit wants to remind us if you are in a situation where it's untenable and you feel that you need outside help, it's there, it's available to you. And it's just a reminder that experts will be able to help you to move forward into your life out of a very challenging phase, I can feel. So that's basically this week's message. So, as a recap, remember if you do feel very overwhelmed, you find you need to find a way to quiet your mind in order to find the answers within for you to move forward, maybe out of a very difficult situation, or if it's just life being very busy with responsibilities and duties, maybe think about setting healthy boundaries. So that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and sharing. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to receive notifications on future videos. And if you are interested to get a personal intuitive reading, you will find the link down below to my website. So thank you again. You take care of yourself. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.